Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay in getting started. When I create three projects in one go, it's always a lot for my little brain to handle, and it means I have to set up for three projects and I have to make sure I have everything straight ahead of time. And I ran into a little snafu, which I think I found a workaround for it right at the last minute, because I have multiple die cutting machines in my studio, and the ones that are set up, the one that is set up on my cutting area is different than my stamp and cut and emboss machine that I use on my videos, just so I can have two in different areas. And so there was a little problem, but I will tell you about that when I get there, and I will show you the workaround, and I think it works. So that's the main thing. So thank you all for joining me today. Today we're going to be making three projects with the Jolly Delivery bundle, and I instantly fell in love with this bundle. Let's take a quick look. This is the Jolly Delivery bundle. It has this die, and it has actually more dies. They're in my case because I actually didn't use this part of the die set today. The other thing when I'm creating with a lot of projects, it makes it hard to, showcase everything the way I want it to. But these are such cute little animals, and one of the cool things that comes with this bundle is this die that makes a very sweet little candy box. But the candy box is a skinny candy box, so I'm going to show you today how to make a bigger candy box. I'm going to show you how. Okay, so let's first start off with what you can make. So this little guy right here, this is what the die makes very easily without any alterations. You can make this. You can put a little tag on the back. It's super cute, very easy to make. And this is what it makes. This area is about 3 inches by 2.5, and I think this is about 1/2 inch deep. So you couldn't put Hershey's Kisses in here. But Ghirardelli squares work really well. And I know if you're in another country, like maybe you're in Europe or Australia, you probably have another skinny type candy that will fit in here. What I do when I'm looking for candy, I make a box and I take it to the grocery store, and I kind of just scan the shelves. I know people must think I'm weird standing there looking longingly at all the candy, but it's to find the perfect thing to put inside boxes. So I'll show you the inside stuff in a moment. Then next off, this idea came from Liz Shannon, and I have put the link, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, please go to my blog post, and right underneath the photo of this gift card holder, I have linked to Liz Shannon's video on how to make this gift card holder. I am going to make this gift card holder today too. I have made a couple little alterations to it though, from her original design, but it's worth taking a look at Liz Shannon's design because she's done autumn gift card holders and gift card boxes. So that's a very cute and sweet thing that you can go and take a look at. And when I linked to her video, I linked directly to the gift card holder, but you can start it from the front and see her whole video too. Thanks to Liz Shannon for that idea. So this creates a flat gift card holder. Okay, so you no longer have the sides. You lose that when you create the gift card holder. And I just did this cute little dog on the back, special delivery. So that's project number 2. And then project number 3 is this box. It is a deeper box. It's 1.25 inches deep versus 1/2 inch. And therefore we can fit 4 Ferrero Rochers inside of here. So this makes this box a little bit more versatile. And I don't think it's too much harder to do. You do have to make some little alterations, but what I really loved about the original design of this box, or the die that creates this, is that we have this unique opening. And you know, we're always looking for something like a little different, and this has that unique opening, and I'll show you how that works in just a second if you are not familiar with this type of opening. So that is what we're going to be making today. And as we're going through, you might say, okay, I would like to get that bundle. Make yourself some notes of the things that you see that you might want to get if you want to make these projects. I have the link to all my supplies below in the description of the video. So afterwards you can go and take a look at those, and they're also over on my blog posts, so they're there for you. If you're ordering from me, you will get to choose one of my free with purchase tutorials. I have a bunch of new ones. I released the spooky tea light holder about a month ago. I don't have a picture of it, but the curved design box that we did last week, I did an alternate design that's also a paid tutorial that you can choose. And then also I have this one I released this week on my Ribbon Savers, the complete guide, which has all the measurements. It has a handy little chart in it. So you can choose one of these tutorials that I have for free with a purchase. And then also from Stampin' Up, you can get rewarded when your order's over $20, and you get 10% back off of an order in the future, and you have 1 year to redeem those rewards. So it's a good long time. But the key is you need to be opted in. So when you're getting ready to place an order, if you've never placed an order before with Stampin' Up, it will prompt you at the beginning when you're creating your account. But I don't know if you're like me, I often like dismiss those pop-up windows really quickly without even reading them. So if you're like me, you can go into your profile and look for the rewards under the menu, and then you can opt in from there. Please opt in. It is a free program, and you're going to get 10% back. You may as well, even if you're not sure if you're going to place another order, you may as well opt into the free rewards because you have a year to use them. And there's so many people that have not opted in yet, and I am going back and reminding my customers, but you can imagine there's other things that I do in my business, so I'm a little bit behind in doing that. So I want you, if you're going to place an order, just make sure you're opted into those rewards, because you're missing out on getting like a little coupon for yourself on a future order. Okay. I'm going to get off my soapbox now, and we are going to dive right in because I have a feeling this video is going to take a little while. Hopefully not, but 3 projects. We need to get through all of them, and so let's get started with them. Real quick, I just want to show you, this is, I did a second one of this. This is the one that the die makes very easily. I did a second one here. You just squeeze the 2 halves together, and then that creates the opening, and this is what it holds. The cocoa ones, the dark chocolate ones, I think are a little skinnier than the regular Ghirardelli squares that are filled with something, but you can fit 1 or 2 in here. Kind of depends on how thick your Ghirardelli is, so you're going to have to experiment. So that's what those hold. This one opens the same way, and it holds a gift card, and I've just made a faux gift card here just to kind of represent all the gift cards. There's, this is like a standard credit card size right here, so you can see there's a little extra room if your gift card's a little bit bigger, and then that just comes together like that. This is very, very nice, easy closure. And then finally we have this one with the Ferrero Rocher, and I just love the way this box opens because it's kind of got like kind of a unique look to it, but I think that fits 4 of these very nicely. You could also do Linder truffles if you prefer. I think that would also look nice in there. But I actually, when I was designing this box, I thought, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think that would fit really well. So I actually designed this box specifically for Ferrero Rocher and for the height. But that also means this length right here is 1 1/4. So that also means that other candy will fit in there, like several kisses will fit in here. So you've got like different options for candy to put in here, but the Ferrero Rocher do look nice, and that I think is a nice kind of chocolatey gift. Okay, let's dive in. I showed you the bundle real quick. These dies cut out a lot of the images, and then this die is what creates the box, and you've got 3 different closure options. The nice thing about this, you've got a star, a heart, and a circle. The nice thing about these, except for the gift card holder where you have to shift this, these 3 little notches will fit right into your area right here. So when you're running it through, you run it through with whatever shape you want right away. So you know exactly where it needs to be positioned. There is no guesswork with that. Except for the gift card holder, we have to remember to shift it. Okay, we're gonna start off by making the easiest design first. And that would be how you originally make it. So you're going to need a die cutting machine, and I've got my the die cutting machine does come with a platform. So I've got my base platform, my thin die adapter, we've got a base plate, then we're going to take a half sheet of cardstock. So I've got Poppy Parade cardstock right here. This piece measures 5.5 by 8.5. You will have about 2.5 inches left over on this side. But I just go ahead, because I'm always in a rush, I just go ahead and just stick this on the half, and you're going to kind of angle it. It doesn't go through like this, and it can't go through like this. So you have to angle it like this. And that also means that you can get 2 of these cut out of 1 sheet of cardstock, which I think we always love when we can do more than 1 out of a sheet. So you'll just position it on there, place your cutting plate on top, and now we're just going to crank this baby through. Okay. And voila. It's, oh, you know what we forgot? Oh, this is good, because it's good when you forget things. We forgot to choose a shape. So let's do that. I forgot to choose it. I could have put it in just like I showed you right at the beginning. I'm just in such a rush. So we're going to do this again. We're going to fit this back over top right here, back into place. When I do this, and I have done this several times already, because whenever something's too easy, I just forget to do it. And now I'm going to fit this back in to its little place. Okay, stay. And then we'll put the cutting plate on top. And just, okay, it's shifted a little bit. All right, don't do what I just did. You should do it the first time, because it just works better if you've got it all situated the first time. Because now I have to make sure this is in place and that is in place, and I think I'm gonna, because I'm worried that everything is going to shift. I don't want it to shift. So we're gonna just pop that into place right here. Stick this down, and now you're going to stay, right? Okay. So now I'm just going to go in over that section. There's no need to do the whole thing over again, and then I'm going to back right back out. And then I'm going to pick this up and pop this off, and there is my little star shape right there. The other thing I'm going to do right now while I have everything out. And I do have to do one more thing. I'm doing this out of order, but since I have the star in my hand, I'm taking a scrap piece of gold foil sheet. You can see I've already cut some shapes out of that. And I'm going to cut myself an additional star because I want to add a little gold foil star to the top of my red star just to kind of really make it shine. So let's just cut this, and that's what it looks like. It's kind of stuck in there. We're going to have to cut it out. So I'm just going to leave that for a moment. The other thing I want to do, I want to cut a piece to overlap this piece, a flap. So let me roll this back over here. We want this side right here. Line this up. So one thing you're going to notice right here, I'm going to do this flap, is this side right here is going to kind of come off and it's going to be hard to cut. So I'm just going to go ahead and just cut that corner off. And then this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that, situate that, and then I'm going to bring this down. You can kind of see the cardstock right there. I'm going to bring it down just to the point where I can't see the designer series paper anymore. And then if I'm careful, and place this down right there. Now when I go and cut, I probably could have cut and backed out right away, but now I've got this piece right here that is going to act as my flap, and these little guys, those can come off, and this is going to wrap to the back. You could also, when you're doing this flap, you could also cut it along that score line right there and just have the top part showing. So you can wrap it like I did mine, so it wraps around the side, or if you want, you can cut it right here along the score line and not have it wrap to the back. Okay, so I think we have all the pieces we need for this one. So let's put the die cutting machine just for the moment. I think I'm always worse with projects when it's not completely my own design, like when I have to work with a box that someone else's made. Honestly, I think my brain just, that's the way it works. But okay, let's extract this little star out of here. So there's the top point and then there's the bottom. So for the bottom, I'm just going to come in with my scissors and I'm just going to cut straight along the bottom. And then for the top, first I'm going to kind of cut along the star, just along the sides of the star. And then that doesn't look very good, so I'm just going to take my scissors and just kind of round it out just a teeny tiny bit. There, that looks a little better, just to round out the top. And then we're going to fold this piece together, but oh, before we do that, let's fold this along the score line, and let's fold this. In fact, let's go ahead and fold the whole thing along the score lines while we're at it, just for the fun. So there's a double score line, there's, because we're making a box, right? It's got a nice curved shape to all the flops, which is harder to do when you're doing a box from a rectangle, right? So it's always nice when we can shape something. These little flops right here. Okay, I think I've folded everything. So now let's go ahead and glue this on here. I had to start a new glue bottle yesterday, and it's like, I like it when it's like part way through the glue bottle and it's not quite as runny. When I get to the second half of the glue bottle, it's better. Right now, I have to kind of smush the glue down a little bit with my tip, my glue bottle, because it's too much glue. Okay. All right, so I'm going to just lay this on top, and we're going to line it with everything right here. Because I've folded everything already, it should work pretty well. And this is another good use for your bone folder, to burnish something that you want to have stuck on there. Okay. All right, and then over here on this side, we want to glue our little star onto here. But let's first, while this is not glued down yet, let's first give this a little help and glue that. And you want the side, that wonky side, the pointed side that you had to cut, have that be facing up so everything lines up. And then, you know, you could put the glue on here too, which is probably a little easier to do than putting it on the star. So just make sure. This is, like I said, this is a new glue bottle, and it's a little too gluey right now. Okay, let's line this up. The other thing you could do right now, which would make your life a lot easier, I have stamped on here. So we could do that. But if you're going to stamp something that has a definite up and down shape like this little gift, you're going to have to make sure, because this one comes up front like this, so you're going to make sure on this side you go stamp and stamp. And you can even stamp one that goes down over the edge like that, because it's going to be facing front. If you want to do the sides, remember, okay, this slot is coming down from the top, and these are coming in from the side. So you're not going to see this tip, but you will see kind of right here. And then this one, you're going to kind of see right here. So that's it. That's all I'm going to do. But that just adds a little interest. If you want to do it, stamp it while it's flat. Ask me how I know. It's much, much harder to stamp once you've already put it together. So you do have a choice. Hey, if you're going to be doing a lot of these and you want to do them quickly, theoretically, you don't have to necessarily glue those side tabs in, I don't think. Like, they can just kind of hang out there, but I kind of like to glue them to the box just for stability's sake. But if you were doing these really quickly and you didn't have the time, that would be like a step that I might want to skip. Like if you were making 100 of these. And Liz Shannon, she did these like autumn ones. And she did not put paper on the flap. That's another step you could skip. You could do just a bunch of stamping. I do feel, and I don't know if you feel the same way, like stamping for me goes faster than die cutting and gluing. So if that's the case, if you're making like a lot of these, then I would just, you know, I always try and find ways, you know, if you're giving one of something, you have time to detail it and finesse it and add extra things to it. If you're making 10 of them, you can do some nice little extras. If you're making 100 of them, it's a time factor thing. Do you have the time to do all those little extras? Not always. So then that's where you can kind of look at things where you can, you know, just make some shortcuts to make your life easier. That really won't detract from the overall look of the project. So your decision. Okay. So I'm going to glue those little guys together. You want to just press, this is a small tab, so you just want to make sure that they are actually stuck together. Okay, and then you will grab Ghirardelli's. It's actually easier to close the box once there is something inside it, because I'll just show you. When you do this, it's easier to have something to press this against to bring this thing up. So if you're having trouble closing it and you don't have anything inside it, that's probably why, because it needs something to kind of press against to make it easier to bring that closure in. So I'm going to pop my Ghirardelli's in there. Side flaps go in first, then your little shape, and then I just start squeezing it together, and then you bring it over the top, and then you just latch it like that. It's a very simple and cute box. I'm not going to show you how to stamp this, but I will explain how I did it really quickly, just in the interest of time. But I used the nested essential dies, and I used the second smallest, and I just used Poppy Parade ink. The greeting comes right from the Jolly Delivery stamp set. There's really cute greetings in here that match with the images and everything. And then this little guy is directly from the paper I used, which I probably haven't told you about yet, but this is, it's the North Pole Delivery, and I just shoved all this paper back in here right before came in here, but it's got die cuts in this, so we've got lots of pretty paper, but I just want to, okay, so here is some of the die cuts right here. You just pop these right out. So this would be really easy to add some cute little images to your boxes, because they are just ready to die cut, and you get 2 die cut sheets with your project. They're not the same though. One of them is animal heavy. At the end, if you're interested, I can pull all the paper out and we can go and take a closer look at it. But there's also images online of the paper so that you can see it. So yeah, that's the front and the back of the box, and just kind of fun little paper. If you want to do a different shape, I did the circle here. You don't have to necessarily do a star. The star is nice for Christmas. The circle's a little bit more neutral. You know, and with the circle, you could do this box with different paper for a different occasion, and then it could be a birthday. You know, it could be something completely different. So I really do like this die set to create these cute little gift boxes, but they're skinny, they're 1/2 inch. So Liz, she's a smart person, and she has just decided to create a gift card holder. And of course, I can never let everything completely on its own. So let me show you how to make this. So first of all, you're going to go ahead and you're going to die cut one of these, again, out of a 1/2 sheet of cardstock. And then I also added, which she didn't do, but I'm going to tell you why I did it and why she didn't do it. So let's just open this up. This little gift card holder, and I will have a diagram in my project sheets. I have already forgotten to tell you, I have project sheets. I will have a project sheets for all these 3 projects that will be sent out tomorrow. If you're on my email list, the link is down below if you want to get on there. But you can see right here, instead of creating the box on these flaps, the ones with the closure on it, you're folding along the inner score line, but not the second one, okay? So in order to cover it up, I added paper in a clever way, and that's where I ran into my snafu today, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to circumvent that, and hopefully it will turn out right. What Liz does is she basically just doesn't fold along it, and she just ignores it. So you will see on hers that there's like a faint little line here. I think she stamps all on her flap, so it helps disguise it a little bit. And then for the outer flaps, the side flaps, you fold along the outer part. The other reason I did paper here is because she also kept the little side tabs here because it looks funny if you remove them without putting these extra flap layers on top of here. So I removed these little tabs that, these little guys right here, I removed them. And I'm going to show you how all of that came together. But so hers is a little bit different. Let's see if we can do it my method with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine without killing our brains doing it. Okay, but she has a tutorial on how to do it. So if you would like to do her methodology, you would not hurt my feelings. That is that. Okay. So we have the first piece that we need. I'm just going to try and think. We also need to add to this piece, we need to add the little shape still. But first, I need to cut layers over top of here to cover those up. So let's bring our Big Shot back in and let's try not and hurt our brains like I did this morning and figure out alternate methods how to do this when your machine is just a little different. Okay, so we're gonna bring our die back in and I put it over here. I've got, this is a piece of 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 by 4 inches, and we're just gonna pop this on here, and we're gonna kind of do the same thing as we did before. I wanna grab this, just hold this up, center it, make sure you've got that part covered. We're going to do just a quick cut along here so when it goes through the machine it can fit. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're just going to lay that on there. Actually, if you can tip it so that it goes as much as possible towards here, because what happened with my other machine is I was able to go through this way and these side barriers were not here, and I was able to get this in pretty deep, but not with this one. So this machine's set up differently, so I have to do a little bit something different. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. All I need for this side is I just need the top flap. I don't need, I'm just trying to think. Wait a minute, am I lying? I'm gonna hurt my brain in a minute. No, I think I do need the whole thing. No, wait a minute. Just a second. I do need the whole thing. I do. Okay, just hold on. I think I might need to make this bigger. Just hold on. This is a fluid situation here. Okay. I've changed the size on this. 2 1/2 by 4 is what I want. Okay. I'm going to redo this cut right here. Oh, this will all be on my project sheet. And sorry, I had to kind of wing it this morning when I realized that not all machines were created equally. Okay, so I've tipped it so that this points through and goes first. We're going to put this right on top of here. And all I want to do is I want to go through, and when this part right here, when this angle right here gets under my roller, I'm going to stop and then I'm going to reverse. Okay, so about to right there, maybe right there, I'm going to now reverse my thing because I don't want this score line on here. So I'm just going to dip it in just a teeny tiny bit. And then we're going to take this piece, and for now, we're just going to cut along here like that. And if we need to do any adjusting, we can do it once we glue that thing right onto the flap, okay? So that's what my piece looks like, okay? We're gonna do the same thing for the other side. Okay, this is 2.5 by 4. So both of those pieces are 2.5 inches by 4 inches. Oh, and we have to do one more thing. Remember, we're gonna come right here. We're going to take this and we're just gonna kind of lay it on there. And we're just gonna cut off that one corner so it can fit through the machine. Now, if I had done this last night this way, I wouldn't look like someone bumbling around here today. If I had figured this out last night. But I actually just figured this out 15 minutes before the video went live. All right, so, okay, so we're gonna do the same thing with this one. We're gonna put this on here. And we're gonna run it through, not all the way, like about when it gets to that. And then we're gonna reverse it, okay? Because all we really want, we wanna get that slot and we wanna get the line. The curves are very hard to cut, as you all know, but a straight line is like pretty easy. You just actually take your scissors, you put them right against the edge, and then you're just going to cut straight out like that. And if we didn't get it straight enough, we can correct a little bit as we do it. But the cool thing here now is that we don't have that score line. So let's see if this all worked out as nicely as it did in my brain a moment ago. And I think I pre-cut a star, so. All right. Okay. Oh no, we actually have to do one more thing, but that's okay. We have to put the star into place. So first of all, let's cut away these inner tabs because they, unlike Liz Shannon keeps hers and just folds them in. I do not want them on mine. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to do is, we don't glue that one on yet, but we're going to glue this one on here. I think this is the right side. Okay. We're going to glue this one onto here, or better yet, I know what we're going to do. We're not going to glue it on yet. We are going to fold this piece the way it's supposed to be folded, and we're just going to cut onto here. That's what we're going to do. So for the tabs that lock, you don't want to fold on the outer score line. You want to fold just on the inner score line, okay? So not the first one from the outside, the second one, okay? And then for the side tabs here, we're going to do the reverse. We're going to not fold on the inner, we're going to fold on the outer, like this. And like this. Okay, so that's the way it folds. Now this piece is going to come up and it's going to fold over like this. Okay, so I'm just lining this up with my fingers over top here, and I'm going to flip this down like this, and I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to draw the slot. Okay, so now this is what we need for the little star shape, and we're going to put this right here. And I believe if I measured this correctly yesterday, you might not even need to draw the slot in here on the future. I might just tell you to do this. It is about 1 inch from the tip. So you're going to lay this little guy with the little pointy thing up top 1 inch from the end. I believe, yeah. So we're just make a little dot 1 inch from the end. And now we're going to run this through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine one more time. It seems complicated, but it really isn't. Okay, so I'm lining this up here. This time I think I am going to use some of this tape just so it doesn't shift. And you want to make sure that it's just centered side to side and that it's not tipped in any way. It's those two other pieces should be going across horizontally. And then we're just going to do this. This way also, it doesn't cut all the way to the back, which I'm going to show you in a second. That way you can actually see the other piece in the background and it doesn't create a hole right through the back. Okay. Now the moment of truth. Peel this off. All right, and then we're gonna grab, I pre-cut a gold star, so you don't have to watch me do this every single time. And I'm just gonna fold and fold and fold and fold. And then we're going to just glue this onto here. It's easier to do this while it's still flat. And just, you have more access to the star. And you don't have to do this either. You don't have to add an extra star to the top. It's not really part of the original design, but like it just looks better in my opinion. So then we're going to glue this onto here. And keep in mind, I know that the top part is cut correctly. As to the sides, I can look, if I didn't cut straight, I can see, okay, that doesn't look straight, and then I can cut that off, but so far so good. So we're gonna put glue everywhere except for where the star is. We don't wanna add any glue there. Okay. And then we're just gonna take this and glue, I'm having a morning. There we go. Just gonna glue that on there. And we can take this now, and you can see on the side, the edge, when I cut it was a little crooked. So we're just gonna give this a little trim on the edge, just to trim it off and make it fit. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is done, and then pencil mark needs to be erased. So with Liz's, she did not add the extra flaps, so you do not have to do this, but I just did it because I thought it would look cool. And then keep in mind, if you're not doing the extra flaps, don't cut away these little tabs. You're just gonna fold those in. So then we're going to glue this one to here. So I just put glue on here and around. Okay, just always make sure your slot and that looks good. Now, right here, I see I did not do a great job of cutting straight, so we will just fix that a little bit. All right. Okay, and then it's just a matter of folding those in, folding this one, and the moment of truth. Voila. It has closed. So there is the little flap. If you're doing this with a different die cutting machine, and you can angle your die and have it go through to a certain point before it catches these outer wings. If you can do that, then you can do it straight on, but you need to go in and then reverse out. In both cases, you're going to have to, if you do it like this or that, you're going to need to go in and then reverse back out before you hit the side wings or before you go too far on here, if you want those extra flaps. But you could also just do them flat, which is fine as well. Or the other thing is you could lay paper on top of here and then just hand cut it. That would be another option. If you glued it on and just trimmed right around, you might be able to do that. That might be the easier course of action. If I had known I was having problems this morning with that one, I probably would have tried it with hand cutting it if I had had a bit of extra time. We'll see how long we go, and maybe I'll do that at the end and see if that's like a possibility. Okay, finally we are to my last project. Oh, and I just want to show you on the back, I just stamped that. I actually used Secret Sea ink and Stampin' Blends to color the sweater and the dog. The dog was in crumb cake. The ink, I did little stripes with the dark and light granny apple green and a little bit of cherry cobbler for the collar of the sweater. Okay, let's do my project. Let's put some things away first because I think I've gotten a lot of stuff on here. Okay, so for my project, you will need to cut another one of these out of a half sheet of cardstock, and then we're just going to, I'm trying to think if I haven't done my instructions yet, but basically we're going to have to cut this little baby up. So let's do that right now. What we're going to do is we're going to cut this away from this rectangle in the center. The center rectangle is going, and so are these little side tabs. So start and just cut along here. You can also use a trimmer, but I'm going to tell you why I am not so concerned about using a trimmer, because these ends right here will not be shown afterwards. So if they're not 100% straight, that's okay. So we're cutting away that center rectangle. Let's cut away. And the little tabs. So we're going to be left with these. I know you're thinking, Brenda, you've just slaughtered the box. Oh, and the cool thing about this candy box, that I'll tell you right now, is that you can get a candy box out of one sheet of cardstock, because half of the sheet of the cardstock you're going to use to cut the die cut, and the other half you're going to cut down to 5.5 by 5, and that will give you enough room to create the other part of the box. So you're going to be left with this and those little tiny tabs left over. And then what you want to retain are all of these pieces, okay? You're going to keep those aside. Then you're going to cut from that remaining sheet, you're going to cut yourself a piece of 5" by 5.5 piece of cardstock. And then I need to get my scoring board. And for this one, we're going to score at the 1 1/4 inch mark on all 4 sides. 1 1/4. One and a quarter. It looks like this. I will have a diagram on my project sheet for all of these. Okay. I'm going to use my trimmer on the long side to cut along these score lines because I like it. It's straighter, but you can also use scissors if you want to. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. I'm lining up my blade, the little lines on my blade with the score line, and I'm going to cut out, and I'm lifting up, and then I'm going to cut that way. So basically you can do that with scissors if you want to. And then I'm going to line up my score line on the groove again, and we're going to cut, lift, and cut. All right. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to just angle cut each of these tabs. On the inside and the outside. Those are what those little pieces look like. They will go into the garbage now. All right, I'm going to fold this along the score lines, but you can do this afterwards as well. I'll just do it right now. I'm going to fold these along the score lines too in just a second. Okay. We could have made this box in a different way, but I love the closures on here, so that is what's fun about it. And you do want to make sure when you are doing your die cutting, go ahead and put whatever, like the star, the circle, the heart, go ahead and slip it into the correct little slot. Like, not like when we did the gift card holder, but you're going to put it right where it belongs, and you're going to make sure you do that when you're doing your original die cutting so that it will be in place. It is in the correct place if you put it there. So now we're going to fold along those score lines, those extra score lines. There is a method to my madness. Okay, so let's line these all up. Long side facing you. This slot we're going to put up at the top, and the star we're going to put at the bottom. And then it really doesn't matter which one you choose on either side, but I'm going to put my kind of the shorter angle down here and the shorter angle down here. So now we're just going to glue these tabs to the outside of the box. I'm trying to think, I did do this beforehand, so this is the next step. So we'll just go ahead and put glue onto the tab. And we're just gonna slide this in and just make sure that this can still bend, and you want it just cozied up right. You want it cozied up right, like that score line is just going to be right on the edge of that cardstock. And just give it a little press. We're going to do the opposite side now. Like that. All right, and then this one's going to attach to this side. And I know what you're thinking. Those tabs are going to show on the outside, but in a second, we're going to cover it with some designer series paper, and you won't see those tabs at all. And you're going to have this beautiful closure for the top of your box. And that is what we're going for. And these should work really well with those score lines that I created. So there's not like overlap. It's like they actually did whole measurements for these. So it works out pretty well. Okay, so now it looks like a bigger box, doesn't it? So you can see on the back, you will see those tabs hanging out. We're going to cover those in a moment. So now what we need to do is we need to glue this box together. I'm going to flip this over to the tab side over here, and I'm going to put glue on all of these 4 corner tabs. And you can do this one at a time if you would like. In fact, if you are new to paper crafting, probably do glue one at a time. While I'm gluing, I just like to get it all done, and I just hope that I don't get it onto my fingers. So we're going to fold it in and just very nicely, make sure you do nice corners. The score line and the edge of your cardstock should line up. And bring the next one in. Slide it into place. If you bend your things a little backwards, you can get better access to them. Okay, and then fold those ones in. And just bring it together. And like that. And if it looks good to you, if everything's aligned, then you can take your bone folder and press on those tabs and just make sure they are stuck down. It's hard for me to show you this, but basically I'm just doing this, but on the work surface. Okay. So there is the box. Now what I need to do is, you can see the tabs. Actually, it doesn't look terrible with the tabs around there, but we can make it look a lot better. So I like this strip of paper because it's got the little houses on it, and I kind of wanted to show you how I did it in the exact same way. But there is some other paper that has some linear designs like that you could use, or use just a neutral pattern. So I've cut this piece to 11 5/8 by 1 1/4. And then we're gonna put this on the score line. You could also just wrap this around and glue it, but I find that scoring it gives it a little help as to where the corners are. So just put that 11 5/8 inch side up at the top, and I've put out my score measurements here. So, okay, so line this up. We're going to score this at the 1/2 inch mark, the 3 1/2 inch mark, the 6 inch mark, and the 9 1/8 inch mark. All right. So the star is going to be facing you. That's the front of the box. So let's just fold this real quick along the score lines. I am going to just dry fit this first. Work with me here. This 1/2 inch tab is going to wrap to the side. So we're going to do this, then the 2 1/2 inch side, the 3, and then we're going to come around like this. This is not 100% like perfect, but it's going to kind of show you where you're going to need to wrap, and then by the time you get to here, it will work its way out. So we're going to start and put glue on here, and we're going to put it all the way along and just live dangerously. We could put glue on side by side, but that would take way too long. Did I even get glue up top there? No. A little bit of glue up top here and up top here. Huh. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to start, and it does kind of help if you have it kind of like on the flat surface, so you can kind of know that it's like level. And then we're going to pull it around here. And this little one, I kind of debated where to put the score line, and I kind of went with here, kind of shifting the score line, but I probably could have also shifted it here. So this one tooth, the third corner, might be a little wonky to get around, but it's still going to be better than if you just try to wrap it, I think. So, and then we're going to come around here, and this should overlap on the front like that. Look how cute that is. All the way around. Very cute, right? Okay, we need some Ferrero Rocher. Okay, these have been kicking around in my craft room for a while, so they have come undone just a little bit. But they still work for props purposes. Okay. There we go. Doesn't that look cute? It looks really cute. Okay. Oh, we forgot one little thing. The star. So we fold the star. I did a little gold extra star so you wouldn't have to watch me cut the same thing 3 times. And then we also want to pop this out so it folds. And the gold looks nice with the gold Ferrero Rocher. And yeah, I could have put the glue. Oh yeah, let's do the glue on the star here. This is easier. Okay. Then pop this on here. Okay. Voila. Okay, side flaps go in, then the star, and then this, fold them in. And look at that. How nice is that? Now on this one, I did do stamping, so don't forget to stamp while your box is flat. I think I was able to do these little gifts on here by very carefully holding underneath and doing all the little stamping. So you can do that, but it's far easier to do when it's flat. Just remember that the way these flaps fold in, you have to kind of, if you want them to be seen or not be upside down, you have to make sure that especially this bottom flap is right side up, you know, when you do it. So there you go. That is how you make that little box, and it's how you extend the little thing. Now, I'm so very curious if we can do a better job with this one. So I know we're going over time. So let's just, for the fun of it, let me grab this, an extra piece, and let me grab, no, this is not going to look nice. I'm going to grab garden green again. Just hold on. Let me grab a sheet, because I just happen to have that cut. So I think what I want to do, I'm just trying to think if I I still, cutting around it, I still need that slot though. So I'm still gonna need the slot. I think there's no way to do it where you cut it around. You would still need to run this piece through and not just cut around it. So I don't think there is a way to do it with at least partially cutting it. But if you wanted to and you didn't mind the little extra score lines, if you didn't mind the extra score lines, then this is what I would do. Okay, this is just like I just want to give you one more idea, but the second idea I had isn't going to work either, because you're still going to have to do that thing that I did with the whole moving around with everything. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to grab the little star shape. It's right here. I'm going to plop this in. Come on. Pop it into its spot. Move this over. We're going to cut this. So, cut this. Oh no, that's wrong. Okay, the reason we can't cut this, okay, just forget this. You're not supposed to cut this with the gift card holder, because when you cut that, it's in the wrong spot. So just take that as a notion off of you. But if you say I didn't cut the star, and I went ahead and I just wanted this piece cut, and I'm not worried about the score line, okay, then you can just do this. Okay, but we do have to cut this corner again. This. And now this time, oh, I think I did my top and my bottom the wrong way. Okay, so let's just cut this all the way through this time. So when you cut it all the way through, you have this score line here. When you have a busy pattern of paper though, that score line is not so noticeable. It's more noticeable when you have this and it hasn't been stamped on. So you probably want to, in this case, you know, do a little stamping on here so it kind of helps cover it up. But let's grab our little stamp, and I have a little bit of water left on my Stampin' Chamois. Let's do a little bit of stamping on here. So to just kind of disguise that there's a line down there. And then the top part is going to be covered up with this. And then these ones, these are going to be folded on the inner score lines. These are on the outer. Remember, I put this in the wrong spot, so it's not going to, you have to do this one separately. But say we want to kind of disguise this one a little bit with paper. That one I was able to run all the way through without having to try and like do the partial thing, but you will still see a tiny little bit of things. So we can put glue on this. And we're going to just really basically ignore the bottom one, because when this one is, if the star came up here, this is going to be like kind of disguised then. But then we get back to Liz's original design with these little tab guys here. So, you know, it's a little bit of, you know, you have to decide what you want. And if you want to kind of go partial through and partial back, if that bothers you. I always have this thing that I want like designs to like work perfectly the way I want them to. And it did last night on my other machine. So these go in, these little tabs go in, and then this goes in, and then this goes in, and then this would go on top. And you'd have to trim this with excess, of course, because we went a little bit over. And that's the way it would look. And you would have your star or whatever come up right here. And you would see a little bit of this score line right here. So I think after doing all of that, I still feel like my partial in and out thing, I think that's kind of the way to go if you want to cover up that little partial score line. All right. That's all she wrote. That's what I'm going to say about that. But it's watch Liz's video if you want to see how she did hers, and she did a better job describing her way. Mine with the covered flaps, I would totally do it, but some of you might think that that is like too hard to remember how to do all of that. So anyway, take from it what you will. I still think that this box, this last project I made, is very useful and not very hard. You have the extra step of making the box, but I love the top closure because it's not something that we typically see. And then you can pair it with, you know, the skinnier box, right? So different ideas. And I hope you enjoyed them, and I will have a project sheet and I will have the instructions finessed a little bit over the video, but you can always go back and watch how I did things so that you can kind of understand my thought process. All right, if you've made it this far, this was probably one of my most scatterbrained videos ever, so don't judge me on that. But if you would like to subscribe to my channel, I would love that. If you want to leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, share this video with some other people so they can see how crazy my video went today. Go ahead and do that. I would really appreciate it. And then I'm going to read your comments. Remember, you can get a project sheet for this project and for all my back projects if you sign up for my email list. And just for those of you who are already on my email list, I often get like emails saying, I would like a past project sheet. Well, just remember the Saturday email has a link to past project sheets down at the bottom. I send it out once a week. So on Saturday emails, look at the bottom, the last banner, click on it, and it will take you to the project sheets page. Okay, let's say hello to all of you. If you're still with me, I hope you are. Hello, Sharon. And yes, you weren't early. You were on time and I was late, but I'm glad you're here. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Jeannie. Hello, Mary. And Tina and Irene and Linda. And Linda says she just got my tutorial on the ribbon savers, and she says, oh my gosh, what work you did on that. Looks like an engineer did it. So many thanks to you. Well, thank you, Linda. I appreciate the compliment so much. I've had a few people reach out to me and say that they were wowed by the project. I tried to do a lot of visual things to help everyone. I did little diagrams, and I think about a month ago, I decided I was going to add this last final chart that condensed everything down. And that is what I think would be great to put in a page protector. And then what I would do is I would keep, if I made a few extra of the little ribbon savers, I would throw them in the back of that so that you have them for when your next ribbon rows come in. Right now, Stampin' Up's pretty consistently doing one ribbon type. They might alter it a little bit with some of the other ones, but pretty much they've kind of followed a pattern. They're doing the 3/4 inch ribbon holes, and because of that, when new ribbon comes in, you can also have some already prepared and just tucked in behind your guide, and then it will make things a little easier for you. But thank you. I'm so glad it took me such a long time to get it done, because I was just kept trying to make it better. And I think over the months it did come out to be something that I'm pretty proud of. Thank you for that. Hello, Valerie. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Vera Blue and Karen and Linda and Mommy Roo. Hello, Mary Seibert and Mary Guff, I think it's pronounced. Hello, Lois. And we've got people from all over the place, but I'm trying to go more quickly today because I feel like I've already gone over time. Hello, MN Pepsi and Darlene and Patty. Patty says, thank you for offering the Ribbon Savers PDF and video. Must have been a lot of work for you. Very much appreciated. I think the worst part of the Ribbon Savers thing was I wanted it to be so perfect that I just couldn't finish it. And it was kind of bothering me that I couldn't get it done in a timely manner, because that's one of the things I don't like to be late. But when it comes to things like this, I don't know, my detail orientedness comes out more and overrides the fact that it's not on time. I just want things to be like that. So that's what bothered me the most, was not being able to push it out faster. But if I had pushed it out a month after my original ones, it wouldn't have taken the shape that it has now. So I'm glad I waited and created something that would be a really useful guide for people. Hello, Jean. Hello, Linda. Hello, T. Hello, Nina. Nina says she's in California, near where my son lives. Yeah, and we were up in San Francisco not too long ago, so we were close to you. And I'm sure we'll find plenty of excuses to get out there now, because, we have a reason. Linda says, how about using Designer Series paper for the whole box? And would a Reese's Buttercup fit? You know what? I think a Reese's Buttercup would fit, but I don't have one here, so I can't test it for you, but I'm thinking it would. It's like 1/2 inch. So if you have any at your house, you can measure it. If you have 1/2 inch, a Reese's Buttercup would fit. That would be like, especially in America, that would be like a really cool thing to put inside. That's a good thing. Tina says, don't hurt my brain. I know. I hate it when things, I have like various equipment that I have acquired over time, and I do have a big shot that I have over on my die cutting station. Instead of buying another Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, when we changed models with Stampin' Up, I kept one of my big shots and left it over on my die cutting station, because it just makes sense. And then I have my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine over here for demonstration purposes, and pretty much those machines are very much alike, except sometimes when Brenda tries, I'm talking about myself in third person, but when I try to be creative, sometimes I don't realize, okay, we've got two different machines. And the reverse could be true too. We could probably do some things with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine that wouldn't work on the Big Shot, just because my creative brain has thought of a different way to do things. So that's where I've never run into that problem before, but today this is one of those times. I was just trying to like finesse that design a little bit. So, but what was the question? So, okay, using designer series paper for the whole box. That was a question that Linda asked. You could for this box, you could use designer series paper for the full box. It would be cute. I always like a little bit of contrast though, because I like having like a little bit of a solid with a little bit of a pattern together. I think it looks nice. But yeah, you could do it all like out of designer series paper. I'm just trying to think though. Okay, so this is what we got left over. I'm just going to measure it off camera here, because out of a 12 by 12, ooh, I think you just might be able to get, I'm just measuring this here. I think you just might be able to get 4 designer series paper ones out of one sheet of designer series paper. So that would make me happy, because I hate it when you can only get 1 die cut or 2 die cuts out of like a sheet of designer series paper. So you could theoretically get 4 out. So that's a good point if you want to do that. Hello, Marge. Kristen says, such a cute box for some yummy candy. T says they're all adorable. Linda says, very cute boxes. You're so creative. Well, this one, with this particular box, this is like an easy button box, because the die makes this box. And so you don't have to do what I did, the extra things, or what Liz did. You don't have to go and take it to the next level. But I do love this little closure, and it doesn't take that much more work if you want to do boxes with this closure and make your box a little bit deeper. So that is totally a possibility. So I think that box, and you wrap the paper around, you can't see the seams at all. So it looks like it's just all one piece. So that's the cool thing. You can get like a bigger box out of it. Linda says, very cute boxes. You are so creative. Well, thank you. I actually do really want to thank Liz, because she really, I don't go browsing for other designs, but it came across the feed on a board that, actually, I think it just came across my feed, and I saw it and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I just kind of remembered that when I pulled out the bundle this week, I'm like, oh, let me go look and see how Liz made that. And so she really got me thinking about how we could extend the usage of that particular die. So she really got me. I sometimes have like a bit of a stumbling block when it comes to just kind of just totally being original and not having like something to a starting point. I do better when I have like more free range than like a very specific die. So she would just really help me to think, maybe there's something else I could do with this die other than just create the box that it originally came with. So I like to thank her for that little kick to get my brain flowing. Tina says she can't wait for the project sheet. I will try and get that out tomorrow. And Lynn says, remember to give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Linda says, thank you, Brenda. She loves the boxes. And she said, thank you for the gift card holder. And Verblue says she was here late and she'll watch the replay. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. I will get the project sheet out with some diagrams, and hopefully that will help you create all of these projects. And it's such a cute little bundle. I did not even show all the cuteness with all the little animals, but this is the starting point. All right, everyone, have a great Friday and a great weekend. Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye.